In this video, I'm going to show you how I make the economy block. That's a very basic block, but I'm going to show you how I do it with one of these rulers. So let's get started. So a bunch of you have requested wanting to see this particular ruler used for making the economy blocks. And so if you saw the Hunter Star video, I made up Hunter Star blocks where I was able to use this ruler to make them really easy and actually really accurate at the same time. I mentioned in there that you could also use this for a lot of other types of blocks, including the economy block, so if people wanted to see that. So here we go. So right here is an example of one of these blocks. This is a 10.5-inch block. So once you would sew it to other blocks, it would end up being 10 inches. These blocks are really great for kind of using sort of an I Spy look where you take the center fabric and you just use really interesting fabrics. So it is easier to make two of these at once. So I'm going to go ahead and make up one of them where it's got this fairy creature, and then the other one is going to have this sea turtle that's in a batik. And then this is something that I have on hand and I've just been really wanting to use it up. I have a lot of fabric that I've dyed, so I'm going to use that. But absolutely, you could just use whatever prints that you feel like coordinate within those colors. These would work really great with grunges as well. So if you have those grunge fabrics that are really popular, that would be an excellent choice in these cases. These fabrics I'm going to have for the outer. So this fabric is going to end up being these outer triangles here. And then this orange and fuchsia fabric is going to end up being kind of the inner triangles. So I'm going to set this aside just for the moment. These center blocks I have cut to 5.5 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and set those aside. And then this is effectively my first round. I'm going to make it out of this material. So what I need out of this is I will need two 4.5-inch squares. So I'm going to go ahead and get that cut. Okay, so now I have those 4.5 inches all cut up. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have these two in one of them and these two in one of them. So it's just a matter of kind of figuring out which one I think is going to be kind of a better fit there, because there's a lot of orange in both of them and there's a certain amount of fuchsia in each one of them. So I don't know. I think I'll go for that. So that one will go with that one. And that will go with that. And then for these outer squares need to be 6 inches square. Okay, so let's see. I'm thinking these two are similar and these two are similar. Now the reason why I am doing two of these at once is because it's actually easier to just sew two at the same time, because I'm going to be sewing a piece onto one side, and then I found that when I was sewing my test block that a lot of kind of shifting to try to do that. So I think it's just easier this way. You want to go ahead and cut these in half on the diagonal, and actually I usually like to do that way, is I like to position so I can use secondary points to make sure I really do get 45 degrees. All right, so that is for this. And then this one, we're going to do the same thing. Okay. And there we go. Okay. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack these on top of each other like that. Now, let's just look at how the block is going to come together. You have to get these to go on top where it's the hypotenuse to the side of the square. And so that means that your seam direction is right here. For this to work as an engineered type of tip, then you have to have it be perpendicular. And so it looks like you'd want to do it this way, but this is not going to match up. What you have to do is you have to flip it. So you flip it this way, and I can just put that right on there. And in case you are wondering, these rulers are called the Clearly Perfect Slotted Trimmer. I do like to use a small rotary stick cutter for this whenever I have that on hand and haven't lost it. And so I cut one of those. Nice thing about dyed fabric is it really doesn't matter which way it goes. It's kind of like most batik fabric in that case. I'm just going to get that positioned. And then there we go. All right. And so that is all ready to go for this one. Now you'll see there's a little bit of a hang off there, and that's just because whenever you're trying to calculate a hypotenuse using the Pythagorean theorem, then you do end up with kind of like weird numbers like, a 0.07 whatever. And so just to make this be a lot more friendly so that I give whole sizes that make sense, then the closest to that, but still slightly over, was 4.5 inches. So that's why there's this little bit of stuff here that's kind of hanging over the edges. So that'll be fine. And so I have that one set up, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So we want perpendicular to that seam that is going to be stitched. And then flip it around to the other side. Okay, and then this is going to go with this. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and get these prepared, just so I don't have to come all the way back here. And then again, perpendicular. So, as my seam is going to be along that hypotenuse. All right, so here we are at the machine, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to kind of audition these to see if maybe I want to have things in a different spot. I'm going to go ahead, let's take these two away. I'm going to set those aside. And then I'm just going to put this one, it's going to be off camera, but it's still on the machine bed there. All right, so I just need to put these two together. And so at this stage, I don't even bother pinning because I find that I'm fine without the pinning. But if you need to pin, then go ahead and pin. And I have these on top here. So for this first round, I'm going to have them on top. I am also going to do a scant 1/4 inch. And so what that means is that it's going to be about 1/32 of an inch shorter than a 1/4 inch seam. And the reason why I'm doing that is because the fabric, the way it folds, combined with that this is like, I think like a 30 weight thread maybe, or a 40 weight thread, all of that is combining to make it to where even though it's a 5.5 inch block, it was ending up being smaller than 5 inches sewn in when I had all of that in there. But if I do a scant inch where I do just a little bit smaller than a 1/4 of an inch, then I can preserve that 5 inches. So for this, I'm just going to, and also keep in mind, we're talking about a straight of grain against this top piece, which is a bias. So, and that's part of what kind of makes the economy blocks a little tricky. So I am going to lift the presser foot to put it in there instead of just feeding it like I ordinarily would. There we go. And you probably can't see it over there, but my line is actually right here, and then the fabric is just a little bit to the side. And then I hold on to this gently. I'm not like, holding on to it. I'm not pushing it. I'm just basically making sure that my layers stay together. I'm just very, very gentle with it. And then we have our second block. So I'm going to go ahead and audition my pieces for that. So I'm going to go ahead and put these two aside. And then I'm going to put this one over just to the side on that extension table bed zone that I have. And then again, I'm just lining this up, and I'm going to do it without pens because I'm reckless that way, I guess. And then just going to lift that up, get that positioned. Okay. So now I'm just going to put this other side on. All right. And now I am ready to go ahead and press these. So here I am at my pressing station, and I just need to do a little bit onto those seams to get the fibers to relax some. And then I'm just very gentle with getting that to go out. Very, very gentle, because we're talking about a lot of bias here. And then we just need this one pressed. And there we go. Okay, so I have everything nice and trimmed, and what I did was I trimmed everything to 7.5 inches. And for that, initially I'm lining up the 1/4 inches with these points over here, trim the first two sides. And then once I have that, then I can line it up with the 7.5 inch mark on the ruler and trim the other two sides of it. And so that will give me a perfect 7.5 inch block, and I can move on to the next step here. So I have these, so I can kind of audition this a little bit, see what I like, and yeah, I think that will all look very nice. So I'm going to set two of these aside. So for this, it's going to be a little bit different than that first round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line these up. I'm just positioning them, and as you can see, they do go a little bit past, and that's just because of how that Pythagorean theorem kind of works out to something that's a little hard to translate into regular measurements. I have a binding clip on this side. Personally, I really like binding clips. And then I'm going to go ahead and just use a stick pen. You could use another binding clip right there too, but I'm going to go ahead and use a stick pen. Then what I'm going to do for this is it's very hard to match up with the points here from this direction. So I'm going to have to flip this over. And in this case, I do recommend either clipping or penning. And the reason why is because whenever you're from this side, that smaller piece, it just seems to want to shift out of placement. And so I know that's a really common problem for me. And if it is for you, this will help you fix it. And in this case, I can actually do the full 1/4 inch seam. That is fine. I can just remove my clip there, and I'm going to just line that up. Okay, let's make sure everything's good. And so what I want to do here is I want to get it just barely to that outside of the point. If I have it stomping right over it, then it can kind of give off the perception that I've cut off the point, even if I really haven't. And that's just because of the layers of fabric. So let's see. And like right here, it's kind of hard because of that white thread that I'm using. But as you can see here, I basically had that needle go right into kind of that little corner notch, but on the outside of it. And so whenever I flip this over, you're going to see that it's going to be a really good looking point. So there we go. So now I have the sea turtle, and I can do the same thing. I can kind of audition this a little bit and see how I want this to go. I think that all looks pretty good. So I am happy with that. I'm going to go with that. So again, I'm just going to line this up over the top of this. And it is going to hang a little bit off of each end, and that is okay. We're fine with that. And then I can just clip this edge because this will be the leading edge. And I just want to secure it is basically why I'm doing that. Because you might wonder if I'm just pinning this other end because it's at the bottom, then, I could just keep hold of that. But this is just so everything stays in place when I'm flipping it. And it's going to make sure that everything seems like it's lining up. And then here we go. Let's see, that's right. Let me give a shot of it. Okay, so on this first one, so you can see right there, that point is just dead on. It looks really, really good. And so that's what you want to do to make it so that these have really, really good, meticulous kind of points. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this stitching here. And there we go. So this is the turtle. And really, really good point right there. And pretty good point there. Probably could have been just, a couple of weave fibers closer in, but it's definitely good enough. So I'm going to press these, and then I can get on to the final triangles that I will be attaching. So now that I have these all done, I needed to press them, and so that's just like before. So I'm pressing to the side and gently tamping them down and then pressing them down the rest of the way. So as you can see here, they look pretty nice on the backs. That process worked pretty well. What do you think about these that I created? I think the sea turtle, it kind of looks like it's swimming near some lava in the ocean. So hopefully the sea turtle is going to be okay. But beyond that, it kind of looks like a nice sort of alluvial type of thing with the way the fabric is, almost kind of like it's that ocean current under the water type of a thing. And I think this worked very well using the dyed fabric with the fairy because, it's already kind of this very ethereal, and it's got, kind of this airbrushed look to the fairy there. And I think the dyed fabric looked really well. But obviously these are going to do just fine with commercial fabrics like grunges and, even this here with like these kind of cherry blossoms and the bees. I'm not sure about pairing bees with the turtle, but these little cherry blossoms can be kind of reminiscent of sea anemones. Just so you can kind of see what things might look like if you were to put them into a layout. So this one's obviously very different because it's a lot more monochromatic with those blues, but it would still go. This is a great pattern for using up your scraps. It was actually a pattern that was originally thought of as a way to use the scraps. So I hope I've given you something to think about here. If you've been struggling with the economy block, then hopefully using a ruler like this can help you. Until the next time, happy sewing.